Hey, how's it going everyone? OutlawClient here, back again this week with another episode of Fisticuffs Friday. This week continuing on with some Mortal Kombat 9 online battles. Now, I know you guys are probably really surprised over the fact that I decided to choose Mortal Kombat 9 again, because if you watch me regularly, you'd know that I usually do 3 fighting games in a row, then I move on to a new fighting game, you know, just to mix things up a bit. But I was thinking about things over the week, well, things to do with Mortal Kombat, you know, not just any things, but mostly things to do with Mortal Kombat X, and I thought to myself, well, maybe there are a few things in the discussion that I left out. You know, I didn't really talk much about certain things, like the story was a big part. Other things like extras, like costumes and stuff like that. I just thought that I didn't talk about all that much, and I thought it would be really strange if I decided to talk about Mortal Kombat, talk about Mortal Kombat and fatalities and stuff whilst playing a different fighting game. Yeah, but playing some Street Fighter while talking about ripping out someone's spine. Yeah, it doesn't quite work, does it? But anyway, in regards to the gameplay, I'm actually playing some tag battles, online tag battles, and I was surprised that I didn't show any tag battle gameplay at all. I mean, even when I recorded Mortal Kombat back, I believe it was like last year or early last year, one of my earlier videos, I didn't even show any tag battle gameplay. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm playing this with a good friend of mine, Nams242. And as you can see, he's busting out some moves there with Kenshi. Jeez, oh god, Jesus, look at that X-ray. But anyway, so for Mortal Kombat X, I wanted to talk a bit about the story, and I have to quickly warn you guys that I am going to be talking a bit about, or I give out some spoilers in regards to Mortal Kombat 9's story. So yeah, you guys, if you haven't quite finished Mortal Kombat 9 yet, then I recommend that you hit the mute button. Yeah, don't worry, I'll wait for you. But anyway, so not much is known about Mortal Kombat X's story. I mean, when I say not much, I mean absolutely close to none. But the thing that Ed Boon confirmed is that the game is set 25 years after the events of Mortal Kombat 9, and he did say directly after Mortal Kombat 9. So with that information gathered, I think it's safe to say that the final boss, well, not final boss, but the final enemy that was mentioned in the end of Mortal Kombat 9's story is probably set to appear in this next game. And if you guys aren't familiar with it, or you just can't remember, the thing is that in Mortal Kombat 9's story, well, at the start of Mortal Kombat 9's story, you have Raiden versus Shao Kahn, as he is one of the last fighters alive that wants to protect Earthrealm. But cut a long story short, Raiden pretty much is on the brink of getting defeated. I mean, come on, he's getting battered by Shao Kahn, and he ends up sending a message back to his past self, aka Mortal Kombat 1 self, and he just warns him, with a really vague message saying, we must win. Of course, not really much information, and throughout the course of the game he gets like flashbacks and stuff, or flash forwards, or yeah, whatever you want to call it. But cut a long story short, in the end he manages to defeat Shao Kahn. However, it's not without costs, since most of the fighters, or most of the heroes are defeated, including big ones like Sub-Zero, well, should say Cyber Sub-Zero, Jax, Sonya. Well, no, sorry, not Sonya. God, I had to think of any example when I used the one that didn't die. But no, in the end, only 2 of the main heroes survived, which were Johnny Cage and Sonya. And of course, when you think about that, it makes you think, like, how many of the fighters are going to appear in this new one? I mean, if they're dead, I mean, like, how on earth are they going to appear? Now, the thing that I think is that I believe the characters are probably going to be resurrected in some form. I mean, they'll probably be resurrected to fight on the dark side with Quan Chi. Now, the character that I was talking about that appeared at the end of Mortal Kombat 9 is Shinnok. And Shinnok is, I believe, a sorcerer of the Netherrealm, almighty ruler, and is pretty much, well, nearly what I could maybe say just about as powerful as Shao Kahn, if not stronger. But the thing about the end of Mortal Kombat 9 is that Quan Chi stated how everything went to plan. Of course, he wanted Shao Kahn to merge the Outworld with Earthrealm, so that it would leave them very vulnerable, and of course he would go in for the attack. Now, the fact that, well, they planned everything, it sort of gives the impression that they're going to make some type of appearance in the next game, and yeah, I think it'll be quite nice having someone else other than Shao Kahn as a main villain. I mean, he is quite iconic, and it's funny because I think I've just contradicted myself, seeing as how I was saying in the last episode, I really wanted Shao Kahn to appear as a playable character, and how he's so iconic, and I don't think he will be omitted from the next game. But no, I mean, Shao Kahn was defeated in this game, and you know, there's always the possibility that he'll return in some form or another. Now, like I was saying before, I think a lot of the main characters will be resurrected in some shape or form. Probably in the story mode they'll be there fighting for Quan Chi and Shinnok. Maybe Raiden has to do something to free them of their mind control. Maybe Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, maybe Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Now, getting on, I know I mentioned Sub-Zero just then, but I know that I also did mention previously that Sub-Zero died, or should say Cyber Sub-Zero died. And the funny thing about that is that, of course, in the revealed trailer and in the gameplay trailer that we've seen so far, Scorpion, or I should say Sub-Zero, is definitely a playable character. Now, this probably leads me to think that this may just be a different Sub-Zero. I mean, of course, we have the two different Sub-Zeros. We have the original one, Bi-Han, who is pretty much the original Sub-Zero, and also Noob Saibot, resurrected as Noob Saibot. And, of course, we have the younger brother known as Kuai Liang, I believe it is. Kuai Liang? Yeah, sorry guys, I'm doing this off memory. But, yeah, I believe he's the younger brother. And he, of course, took on Sub-Zero's attire and obviously his code name just to avenge his brother who was killed by Scorpion. And the thing is that it might just be another, I mean, I was a bit surprised because I thought there were only like 2 guys that can control ice. I don't believe they have any more brothers. I believe there was like Frost or someone like that in Deadly Alliance, but yeah, she hasn't appeared since, and obviously that's not a female. So yeah, I was a bit surprised there. Maybe I'm just looking into this too much. Maybe all the characters are coming back. I mean, let's be honest, after a fatality, all the characters, you know, they come back. They haven't got any scars, they're fine, but no, I mean, only time will tell, to be honest. Of course, Sub-Zero and Scorpion, probably the most iconic characters in Mortal Kombat. I mean, as soon as I think of Mortal Kombat, that's who I think of straight away. But again, I might be looking into this a bit too much. But anyway, so like I was saying in the story mode, I was thinking that they might be, resurrected and working for Shinnok and Quan Chi, pretty much to be used as a way of taking over both Earthrealm and Outworld. But who knows? But I do believe that maybe they'll have to start forming more alliances. I mean, the good characters. I mean, when you think about it, most of the heroes are gone. So we have Sonya Blade, Johnny Cage, and also we have Scorpion and Sub-Zero. But again, Sub-Zero is a hero, but Scorpion, you know, you never know. You know what? You can never tell what side Scorpion's going to be on. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? You never know. But a lot of the time they always say he's neutral. So I think there's still a chance, you know, a possibility that he may end up working together with Sub-Zero or even Johnny Cage / Sonya Blade at some point. But another thing is that one of the playable characters revealed was Cassie Cage, I believe, who's the daughter of Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade. And of course, I believe she's probably going to be on the good side, you know, part of the heroes, and she's going to somehow have to help protect Earthrealm. Who knows what will happen. But another thing worth mentioning is Kotal Khan. So maybe Shao Kahn might be absent from this game, maybe Kotal Khan will take on a very similar role to Shao Kahn. Maybe he'll even try and avenge him, because it's, you know, set 25 years after. So, you know, maybe he's heard about how Raiden killed his well, I shouldn't say father, his ancestor, and how he wants to take revenge on Raiden. Maybe he specifically doesn't care too much about taking over Earthrealm. Maybe he just wants Raiden, you know, he's out for blood. But again, like I said, I don't want to get anyone's hopes up high. This is just all speculation, so again, just take this with a pinch of salt. But another thing that I wanted to mention, and I might have touched on it a bit in the previous episode, but I was just thinking to myself, like, will any of the other old characters appear? You know, like Bo Raicho, Frost, Dramin, you know, those type of characters. Yeah, I know, all examples from Deadly Alliance. I mean, guys, I'm not gonna lie, that's the last game that I remember the most. But again, I I'm not 100% sure if they will make an appearance. I mean, it's great that we're seeing new characters, but how they fit into the story, I'm not entirely sure. But again, you never know what to expect. We might have loads and loads of characters being resurrected even more. It might just throw a curveball or something, who knows, but again, only time will tell. Now, since most of the warriors that are protecting Earthrealm are dead, I think that it's not too far out of the question in thinking that this game might just revolve around like Raiden and the gang trying to build up a new team to protect Earthrealm. I mean, think about it, we have Raiden alongside Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade, and again, they're by far the most experienced people that are alive with the previous Mortal Kombat tournaments, so like I was saying, it might just revolve around them trying to replace them. I mean, trying to find some of the best warriors, and with that, it would sort of, make sense that they have loads of new characters to replace the old ones. I mean, I would love to see some of the old characters. I mean, there are quite a lot of iconic ones there, mainly Reptile, Melina, yeah, both players that I play as, but no, I mean, like I was saying, it would be nice to see some new characters as well. I just think, Mortal Kombat 9, like I was saying in the previous episode, it was really nice seeing all the old characters in HD, but again, apart from Cyber Sub-Zero, they didn't really introduce any brand new characters, unless you want to count some of the DLC characters, like Freddy. But again, like I was saying, it would be really nice to see some brand new characters that tie in nicely with the story. And another thing that I haven't even mentioned is, Devora alongside Farah and Tor. Yeah, so yeah, that's another thing to think about. How would they fit into the story? Are they part of, are these evil characters? I think it's safe to assume that Kotal Khan is most definitely not helping Earthrealm. But again, like I was saying, I'd really, really love to hear you guys' opinions. How do you think the story will pan out? Do you think any of what I said might be possible, or do you think I'm just like completely wrong? Who knows? But again, like I was saying, it would be nice to hear you guys' opinions. This is a really, it's a topic that hasn't really been, well, you can't really tell too much about it at the moment, so still early days to be making speculations like this. But hey, still interesting to hear what you guys might think, and who knows, we might even look back at this video after the game is released and think, we made some pretty good predictions. Yeah, either that or completely just laugh in the face of us, laugh at the fact that we made up some crazy predictions. But anyway, so as you guys can see, finally managed to take out that Sub-Zero player. Here we go. We had to finish him off with a fatality. Let's let that play. None of that, mate. Not having any of that. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching, guys. The shout out for this week, well, of course, I want to give Nams242 a shout out. Thanks again for helping me with some tag gameplay, and he does, quite a few comedy parody videos. So yeah, I'll just leave his details in the description below. But again, if you guys would like me to give you a shout out, just like, subscribe, and just leave a comment stating about the video, like what do you guys think about the video? Did you think it was alright, or any room for improvement? And again, also state that you want a shout out, specifically state that you guys want a shout out. But anyway, thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you all later. Peace out.